to totally change subjects and to totally change the mood of the show. How much time do we have left? So
We have about 15 minutes.
okay, awesome. February the 14th, we had a shooting in Florida at Stoneman.
Lakeland.
It's Stoneman Douglas.
Douglas Stonehill. Stone.
Look it up.
Jeez.
It was a high school in Parkland,
Yes.
Florida.
Yeah.
Florida.
I remember going home I caught the tail end of it happening live on TV. I turned on the TV and it would happen to be on the news and that was what was there and I was
yeah.
oh my goodness.
I went to a professional development in Milton, and as I was driving home, I saw stuff start popping up on my Facebook or whatever. So I started listening in, and the first thing that I saw was a video from a student in the classroom.
Oh
in the classroom, and that was such a
Stoneman Douglas.
Yeah, Stoneman Douglas. That was just such a surreal moment. And there's a lot of things the more we've gotten out of this, we've seen FBI might have known about it, cops not going in, et cetera, et cetera. All of this gun debate and everything. And the big thing that I'm hearing more and more of is how to protect the schools or this, that, or the other. And it seems like we're getting away from what's really going on. And there are people that are trying to spin things to help their political views or whatever.
That's all the time that happens.
And it comes down to this young gentleman. I don't even know his name. Don't want to know his name. He had problems. He had some serious problems, and his mother passed away recently. I think his father, I don't know if he was in the picture or whatever. He might have passed away too. He was a foster kid. And somebody took him in and everything. And I'm not excusing what he did by any means.
No.
But he was bullied in school, and there was several things that happened. And when people are attacked and not loved, there's myriad of things that they can choose to do. And I think our society has a huge problem right now. If it's not like you, and if it's not, doesn't have the same views or the same this, that, or the other, and it goes back to internet culture we were talking about earlier, you go after it and you attack it like nobody's business.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's why we have so many shootings in our country right now. That there is not enough love that is given freely to people. That people feel like they are being judged every second of the day. What are y'all thoughts on that?
First off, I would like to say, a big 2 thumbs up to Dick's Sporting Goods and Walmart for what they did.
Oh,
They've
yeah, for
raised
sure.
the age limit to 21, and
Well, I thought Dick's Sporting Goods, they just weren't selling it anymore, right?
They've raised. They're no longer selling ARs.
AR, oh, okay.
But they did raise the age limit to where they cannot buy guns until they're 21.
Yeah, it should
They've
be.
also taken the 30-round cartridges. There's no more of that you can buy at Dick's or Walmart. So good job to that.
No, I greatly approve of that.
I go back. It all falls on mental health. If you feel like if you're being told you're nothing, you're going to believe you're nothing. And I feel like what can be done in the schools. I think you should have more training on how to because there's some teachers there are some teachers who are great with their students. They can see a student that needs something and they go for it. And there's some teachers who don't have that and they don't understand how to do that.
Yeah, it's just a job to them. And real quick, students also have to, instead of letting somebody in your class pick on somebody, students have to stand up for it. And teachers, I've seen teachers in my career that just let things go by.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen them, you know, what little bit I've worked in school systems and going to school, I've seen it. You know, ours was, you know, shake hands, you know, and you know, go about your business. Like, there was no real punishment. But I think, I think it definitely starts at home. And, you know, if you can't catch it at home, then it's definitely in the schools. You know, if you see someone acting in a way that looks like it could potentially lead to something, you know, go let somebody know. That doesn't mean that these kids are going to be taken out of the school and they're going to be, you know, ostracized or anything like that. But it does let other people show some love to that kid. Like, you know, ask, because a lot of times it could just be like, there's so much built up. All it takes is, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, you know, anything you want to, you know, talk about, you know, get off your chest. That could alleviate so much right there. But, you know, nowadays, like, if it's not your problem, you don't worry about it. And, like, you could see someone hurting, like, you know, and I'm not saying everybody's like that. I know for the most, like, I know all of us are pretty empathetic. Like, it hurts me to see someone else hurt.
Yeah.
But, like, if someone would just take a little bit of extra time out of their day and show some love, I mean, God loves us all the time. I mean, there's no reason why we can't show that love to other people.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that, man.
So, I mean, all I got to say is, you know, see somebody, love somebody. I mean, I don't meet a stranger. Like, I can talk to somebody that I've just met and pretend, and it's like they're my friend that I've known since kindergarten. And I always treat people the way I want to be treated, and that can go a long way. So, you know, if you see someone hurt, and just reach out a hand. You never know when that's going to save their life or potentially save other people's lives.
Yep. Alan, what about you?
Going back to the beginning, I think that like the whole bullying, mental illness definitely is a factor for a lot of different shootings that occur. There are other instances for other things, of course. But I think there's actually on Instagram, it was Cardi B, which I don't know all that much about her. I think she's like a singer.
She's a musician.
Okay. She actually like I was just like on like the Explore page and it popped up. And she was saying, like, you know, even if it's not, she's like, you know, all you kids in high school, like, you talk about all this different stuff. She's like, you know, like, you can help prevent this. Like, she was, I'm trying to remember exactly what she said. She was like, you know, even if you don't, like, you never plan on talking to this person again, or even if, like, you know, maybe you're not the biggest fan of that person, or even if you don't like their shoes, just be like, hey, you know, just give them a compliment. Like, even if, like, even if it's not like your favorite thing in the world, like even if you don't mean it all that much, you know, just them hearing it could go a long way.
Yeah.
Which I thought I thought it was really cool that, you know, I don't know all that much about her, but I know that she's a more like a recent star, and so like,
but kids,
and like, but like the thing is, like, I know that kids talk about her, and so kids are gonna listen to her, and the fact that she came out and said that, I don't know what the right word for that is. Impressed, I guess, by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough when you see stuff like this. Actually, this reminded me at Pensacon, one of the MCs. I feel bad. I don't remember his name. He was saying, he actually, before the contestants came back out, he was like, "No, this is gonna bring I don't want to bring everyone down, but I want to have like a few 10-second silence." And he went back to the whole love thing because it was a family that he's very close with, like they took him in or something. I believe he said it was one of the nieces. She went to that high school and she did not come home. And so, you know, of course, everyone in the singer, you know, just totally dead silent. And he's kind of cracking a few jokes here and there, but we could tell like it was mostly for him. Like he obviously
that's how they cope.
Yeah, he was choking up, so it was mostly so he wouldn't cry. And so of course we're like, oh god, no. But yeah, he was like, you know, you never know when someone that you love is just not going to come back. So he actually took a moment, I think it was a 10-second moment of silence. He was like, I just want you to like not to think about sad things, just think about the people you love for just a few seconds. And apparently like he was wearing a ribbon, and I think the members of Noise complaint. I don't remember, but there were other people all on stage and they were wearing ribbons in honor of her. And so yeah, like the fact that my friends and I were talking afterwards, we were like, yes, like we knew this happened in Florida, but sometimes you forget just how close to home. Like here we are in Pensacola at a nerd convention, and you know, there's someone here who was affected by that.
Yeah.
So it was definitely very heartbreaking, but it was also very moving to see you just like you in that moment of just whenever he was talking about it, you could feel this sense of community within the theater for just like even just that short brief amount of time.
I mean, one last thing for me is when you were saying that kind of hit me. You know, sometimes doing that's not the easiest thing to do.
No,
I mean, you know, especially dealing with that, being real, like being real, that's the hardest thing ever. And you might not have the right words to say, but sometimes silence does speak volumes, and just being there for that person to just talk
being
to.
in the ear to listen.
Because I know when my parents went through the divorce, I mean, I was embarrassed. I felt like it was my fault, like all that stuff. And I remember Brett was over at my house, and like mom and dad got in an argument, and like, I mean, I was just embarrassed. I went to my room, shut the door. I said, man, I'll see you later. Brett came into my room, put his arm around me, and he just sat there. Didn't say anything. And, I mean, it did help.
Yeah.
So.
My last thing is we actually played American Elegy this year. We played it for MPA. And if you don't know what American Elegy is, it's a piece by Frank DeKelly. And it was actually commissioned in memory of all the students that lost their lives at the Columbine shooting back in the 90s. And we started playing this. We played it some last year, and then we, you know, chose to play it this year. Like the students really wanted to play it. And, you know, every now and then I would remind them what we're trying to convey and everything. And the incident happened, the attack happened the 14th. The following week we had Fine Arts Day at school, which everybody in the school sits down and everything. And I made the choice to play American Elegy for the school. And like I've been at the school for 3 years, very loud. They don't take the arts as seriously as some people do. But I explained, you know, what the song was about, and I told him, I was like, this is a 10-minute piece. I was like, I don't want you to speak. I don't want you to talk. I want you to think about love and hope. I didn't hear anybody that 10 minutes talk.
Powerful stuff. I mean, I remember, you know, the song well, and just even the little bit I got to direct it just made me feel, you know, like a piece and like a remembrance. Because I mean, I remember Columbine and
we grew up with it, and I think the most impressive, like with them being quiet, the band was crying, I was crying, there were people in the audience crying. So what we're trying to get at is, if you see somebody that's hurting, be there for them. Show them love. Even if you don't like them, show them love, because that's when they need it the most. Exactly. They don't need ridicule. They don't need somebody to put them down. They need someone to just show them that, hey, you're a human being and you're awesome.
Don't wait until you see someone hurting. I mean, just like when you see someone in the hall, just be like, oh, I like your shirt, or that, you know, that's a cool hairstyle you have. Like, just the smallest compliment can make anybody feel better, you know.
Don't forget, Nerd Cave loves you.
Yes. All right, everybody. There it is, episode 244.
Yep.
In the books. We'll come back to you next week with more. We'll have Nerd Cave Plus this week and some Nerd Cave Dragons.
Yep.
So we hope that you enjoyed the show. If you did, please give us a thumb up, share all of this stuff. Go over to podcast services around the world, subscribe, rate us, and all that good stuff. This has been Zach.
Robbie.
And Allie.
Have a week.